Okay, I just have to give you an observation on this. Okay, I'm going to play a video, and then in it, I'm going to stop it and show you this Muslim woman. And this is just the hypocrisy that I see. Aren't these Muslim women supposed to, like, not see this trannyism stuff? Isn't it, like, against their Quran or some bullshit? So, I'm just going to play it. She's attending this library event where they have these tranny clown suit things going on. Dude who looks like a lady.
Right here in Texas are being deliberately given access to children as young as 3 years of age so that they cannot defend themselves. ABC News is reporting this out of Houston, but they're actually whitewashing. We've gotten the actual criminal record of the convicted rapist who pled guilty to raping an 8-year-old child. They do a background check for you to be a school teacher or football coach or to work for the Boy Scouts. But they don't do it in New York City and in Houston, Texas, and other areas deliberately when they deliver your children in the public schools and at the libraries to known predators. We have multiple cases breaking as we speak. InfoWars, obviously, a few months ago said the answer in New York and places like Houston is to go to the public schools when they've announced they're going to have these, quote, drag queen events that are really just pedophiles dressed up like women. They know kids trust women, trying to have access to your children, even privately. And I said, run their plates, police, and they're doing it. CPS has been called on the, quote, gay bar, where little kids dance half naked for men illegally in New York. So the good news is they tried to hide all this in plain view, but it's blowing up in their face. Yes, the Associated Press. Yes, the New York Times. Yes, every major publication like CNN promoted it like it was beautiful to have a grown man telling 3-year-olds, shake your booty. Little boys, your girls. Little girls, your boys. We're going to get to all of it and the inside scoop because we've been actively covering and, yes, even infiltrating, legally and lawfully, these organizations. And you'd say, well...
Right there. Okay, so here she is. She's dressed up as she is, as a Muslim. And she's attending this library event with all these women, whatever, who bring their children to be indoctrinated towards this trannyism. Okay, and that's what it is. So, this just shows, proves to me that religion on the planet is an indoctrination thing. Because isn't she supposed to, be abiding her special book called the Quran? Doesn't she get in trouble for seeing stuff like this? I don't know. This is the hypocrisy of religion, so... Just wanted to point it out. She's here attending this library, and Alex Jones is doing a report on a man who's a convicted pedo person thing, and they're coming to these library events. So here you go.
Why are you letting them know you're infiltrating? Because a child predator cannot stop unless they're sterilized or put in prison. I'm warning them to back off and stop, and they can't stop. The New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, Vice, HBO all promote pedophilia and say it's a good thing now. It's the one big issue you cover, you get deplatformed. Because they're not going to get away with this without censoring your response. But parents all over the country are protesting, so what are they doing now? They're not telling you when they come to your elementary school. But parents found out in Denver, and they found out in San Antonio, and they found out in Los Angeles and got really pissed, including liberals. They said, what? You're letting full-grown men dressed like women come talk to my 5-year-old, and you didn't tell me, but if they went to the planetarium, you would? You're not telling us because this is devious and this is evil. Now, we have all the exclusive, including this particular man's criminal record and another man's record who is a convicted murderer and who mainlined and promoted things that I can't even say on air. But we're going to get to all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that image carefully. What do you actually see there? We'll tell you in a moment. Roofie. Now, the final phase of a criminal takeover is to flaunt it in your face. But before we get to part 2 of tonight's emergency global transmission, full articles are up on Infowars.com and Newswars.com right now. Before we do that, I want to look at the censorship and the attack on those of us that stand up for the family, that stand up for the innocence of children, that say a man convicted who served 5 years of a 10-year sentence for brutally raping an 8-year-old child shouldn't be leading drag time to teach kids how to be gay, which means sexualizing children, at your local public school or library. I want to look at Tucker Carlson, because Tucker Carlson is the next target of the deplatform. I told Tucker a year ago when I was deplatformed that he was next. And now Tucker is experiencing it. Somebody who a decade ago went on a few shows as a shock jock and joked about how women's needs are so primitive. Well, so are men's. We are the same species. And they're turning that, some edited chauvinistic Media Matters jokes, into an excuse to try to have him removed and take his sponsors, when they're the ones who just rehired Guardians of the Galaxy director, who attended pedophile parties with pedophiles, defends pedophilia, and is obsessed with pedophilia, and has pedophilic parties that we can't even show you images of that he put on his own website. So there's a coming out of these people. They're making their move. So that's coming up in part 2 of the broadcast. But the first thing I wanted to do was direct you to Tucker Carlson Thursday night, and one of his most powerful and poignant segments where he shows a CNN media dinner where they give each other awards. And the head of CNN inverts reality and it talks about when voices are suppressed, we have tyranny. Trump's just fighting back and criticizing mainstream media, saying they're a bunch of liars and enemies of the truth. They then call that censorship. When it's CNN and others going around working with big corporate media and banks and big tech to silence everyone on record and then lying to Congress about it. So we're going to go to this piece from his Thursday show. We also covered it Friday, where he defended the First Amendment and showed CNN giving itself awards just as a sickening joke that they're the defenders of free speech. This would be like Wile E. Coyote saying he loves Roadrunners, or Lex Luthor saying he loves Superman, or Hitler saying he loves Jews, or Fish saying they love being thrown in the Sahara Desert. But it's all about the big, sick joke. Trying to suspend your reality, where one segment they're saying take conservatives off the internet, next segment how dare Trump criticizes that censorship. Here is a powerful clip from Tucker Carlson.
Well, last night, a group of highly paid media figures gathered in Washington, D.C. to do what they do best, congratulate themselves on being such incredibly good people. It was the annual First Amendment Awards. This show wasn't nominated, by the way, and to the literal-minded, it might seem a little odd. We've spent the last 2 years almost alone in Washington, by the way, defending the idea that the unpopular ought to be allowed to say uncomfortable things in public. That was our understanding of free speech. But this is 2019. The point of the First Amendment Award is now just the opposite. It goes to the media executive who has worked most tirelessly to punish the people he doesn't agree with and force them to be quiet. Given those new criteria, this year's award went to, of course, CNN President Jeff Zucker.
The day that we allow those in power to determine who gets to ask them questions and what kinds of questions we ask, that is the day that this dinner ceases to exist.
Who gets to ask the questions? Now, whatever you think of Jeff Zucker, he is not encumbered by shame. Keep in mind that it was his network, CNN, that argued in public that Fox News should not be allowed to ask any questions of the candidates in the Democratic primary debates. That just happened. It was also CNN that demanded that radio show host Alex Jones be silenced because Jeff Zucker didn't like what he was saying. CNN waged a long campaign against Jones. It worked. Jeff Zucker silenced and deplatformed his show. It was a stunning defeat for free speech. So naturally, Jeff Zucker just won the First Amendment award.
Whether you like Donald Trump or you dislike Donald Trump, the one thing that I think we can all agree on is that Donald Trump has made American journalism great again. At CNN, our core mission is to tell the truth, to hold those in power accountable, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable.
CNN's mission is to tell the truth. Well, maybe someone ought to tell Carter Page CNN falsely suggested he was a Russian agent and helped destroy his life. Or tell it to the Covington High School students. Jeff Zucker's network slandered and shamed and tried to destroy them, all on the basis of lies. The truth? Well, maybe the judge will believe that. Zucker had better hope so. CNN is facing a $250 million lawsuit over their fraudulent Covington coverage. Lots of luck. Jeff Zucker doesn't want to talk about any of that, so as always, he changes the subject to, you guessed it, Fox News.
This administration has made it abundantly clear that they do not have respect for or tolerance of a free and independent
People are
press.
black and white.
They call us the enemy of the people. They limit our access. They selectively grant interviews, most often to outlets that have assured them that they will follow the script. Quite literally, they put our lives at risk with their words and their actions.
Fox News follows the script? Right. This is the only network on television where you won't hear the same script every night. It's the only news channel that deviates in any way from the other 10. They are united in total conformity. We are different. Zucker hates that. He prefers strict obedience. Jeff Zucker would shut down Fox News tomorrow if he could. Just the other day, Zucker said that Fox News has, quote, done tremendous damage to the country. How? By disagreeing with him and his friends. This is not the behavior of someone who supports free speech. It's the mark of someone who wants to crush free speech and has. And yet in Washington, people like that get First Amendment awards. It's grotesque.
That's like giving Jeffrey Dahmer an award for fighting cannibalism, or giving pygmies in the South Pacific that are cannibals an award for it, or giving great white sharks awards for being loving to seals. They eat seals, by the way. So why do they do it? It's an arrogance, and it's a psychological warfare tactic to gaslight you, is the term, to just lie to you so much that you just feel disempowered and you give up. Well, you know what? We're not giving up. We're taking action. If you think that lawsuit connected to the lawyer that works with us is serious, get ready, because we've got documents, we've got massive proof on these organizations, and they know we have them. And that's why they're starting behind the scenes to cry uncle. So understand this, folks. We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Now let's continue with Tucker Carlson, because our own Owen Schroyer, when I took a few days off last week, sitting in this very chair, anchor of the War Room program, 3 to 6 p.m. every day, he was hosting my show that's on 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. last week. And he really did an excellent job defending Tucker Carlson. Because again, they can take Alex Jones out, or take Tucker Carlson out, or take Sean Hannity out, or take Alex Jones out, or take Donald Trump out. None of us are perfect. They can take anybody out. They can take anybody out. And that is the attempt. That's what they're involved in. So this is a very important piece that I hope you'll share. If you don't share it, nobody else will. It's on Infowars.com. Attacks on Tucker Carlson by CNN and others backfired. Here is this important report.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. There's breaking news right now on the scandal that is engulfing Fox News. More audio has been unearthed, which we have here exclusively, of one of the channels.
By the way, hit pause. Back it up. Let's restart it. It's engulfed Fox News. The walls are closing in on Trump. Nationalism's dead. The family's on its last legs. The economy's going to implode. This is demoralization. No, the walls are closing in on globalism and crony capitalism and socialism and communism and Hollywood. Hollywood's collapsing.